I woke up this morning and I didn't get myself a gun, but I did choose violence. There is one topic that really gets Infinity Nikki community going, and that is trying to ship Nikki with absolutely anyone. So I'm gonna break the mold, rate how well Nikki would ship with practically absolutely everyone, and will remind everybody that this video is entirely in jest, as in, it is a joke, it is here for fun, none of this is serious, I am not a writer for the game, I appreciate the game not having romantic interactions too, and I also understand that you care about Nikki's sexuality from other games. That does not stop me from being able to do this. So if you want to poop on my party, I'm very sorry, but my party has not been pooped on, and you're free to proceed going. There are a couple of rules to this. The first and most important rule is that we're considering Nikki to be 21 because at the start of the game she was graduating something, and it is wildly assumed that that something was a college, hence 21. We're not gonna pair Nikki with anyone underage. And I'm going slightly off vibes, but I'm pretty sure that Nanoy and Marquez Jr. and characters like that are underage. Therefore, they're a big no-no, and they're not on the list. And also, I am an absolute chaos gremlin, and things that are on this list, you wouldn't really expect to find them here. So, without further ado, let's go. First up is Ina, who doesn't love yourself, a bit of a chain babe. However, she did leave me with a giant heart parasite that grants me immaculate power, but also consumes me from within and makes me able to explode into dark essence if I don't balance it correctly, which I really don't appreciate. So I'm gonna rank you at B. Also, she died on me, which is just very rude. Next up is Giovani. The man definitely has got some issues, considering that he was held captive for 15 years and forced to play for the opposite team. He goes a bit cray-cray at the end and secludes himself inside his father's manor and really struggles with getting out. So the plus here is that he's sexy. The second plus here is that considering that his father has a manor, he's rich and provided for life. However, minuses is that the dude has emotional issues. So when you think about what can he do for Nikki, I think Nikki would kind of end up being his emotional carer and doing a lot of emotional labor, and therefore my guy scores a C. Now we arrive at Raggy. On the upside, this character does a lot of growing throughout the story. On the downside, he is quite worn, as you can see by his patches. He's into people of his own kind, let's put it this way, and he is a sentient pillow with no real riches to offer us. Therefore, Raggy is going straight down into flick of the wand. Geroda also does quite a lot of emotional growth. I do not believe that he fancies anyone in the story, and he gets to rule over his kind in the Grand Feywish tree. So what he has to offer us is royalty status, but on the downside, he is a giant blue bean and probably quite squishy, so he wouldn't quite satisfy Nikki's needs, but if you want to get into a platonic relationship and be called a queen, he will probably do, so I'm gonna give him a D. Welcome to Filomia. Used to be a queen, so the upside is the royalty status, the downside is she is dead, and she definitely has anger issues considering that the moment that she figured out that we are not her sister, she did try to murder us there and then. So, kinda dangerous as a girlfriend, but also hot, but also kinda ghost. And I don't quite know how that would work, so I'm gonna give her a B. Strange. has his own issues, is technically completely dead. Half of him is gay. I still have a feeling that some parts may be intact from the fact that he is, for some reason, a very, very solid ghost. I don't know what to think about this guy. He doesn't have any benefit to offer you up front, and he is living up to his name of being strange, and there is quite a lot of history to do with everything that happened in the past before he died, so he's kind of emotionally damaged. So, considering all of that, I'm gonna be giving him a C as well. So, off with Giovani he goes. Long Momo. Now, Momo is already at about the same developmental phase as Nikki, for they seem to very much think alike. They have been adventuring partners for the longest time, and Momo wanted length in order to be more of a partner to Nikki, presumably to protect her better and such, but you can extend that to be a bit going further, so as people, they are highly compatible, and he is absolutely incredibly loyal, and he will go to weird ends with Nikki, like anywhere she goes, he goes. On the downside, he is a cat, and in the long form, he is kinda creepy, but you know what? Considering all other features, A material right here. On the side note, I can't wait for somebody to go, actually, he's like not a cat. He's like his own race. Cool, 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 cool. He looks like a cat, therefore he is a cat for our purposes of ranking people in this trying to ship Nikki with various NPCs list of rankings that I decided to be doing. Seer, which is kinda a version of you that is also a conglomeration of all other versions of you that have failed spectacularly over the time. She gives you a house, she has her own place in the universe somewhere, Sea of Stars, that exists somewhere. She's already calling you little pink star, so she's clearly into you. She does give creepy mommy vibes, and I don't really appreciate being compared to a butthole. However, having a godlike being as your partner that is also already you must come with some benefits. So I'm gonna throw her at A and never talk about this ever again. Orin is a former god, sort of resides inside Sea of Stars-ish / interfaces with Sea of Stars and does whatever he does on the regular, escorts you to your house, is very gentlemanly with you, very gallant, kind of reminds me of a butler. Former god must still have quite a few powers, very mysterious. I am not entirely sure that he would ever be into Nikki, considering the way that he acts, but look, if you're gonna get together with a former god that also, as a bonus, is not a ghost, doesn't seem to have heavy emotional damage, and is not you nor your pet, and is definitely somewhat humanoid, that is like ranking quite highly as far as NPCs come in this game. As such, he's getting the S tier. He's getting Ganjas. Like this is as good as it goes if you manage to get him as a catch. Miss Bai was a koi fish turned dragon, turned your lovely companion of the painter Nikki, turned the guardian that went a bit cray-cray from painter Nikki dissolving and never coming back, and she tried to end the world. There's very obvious chemistry with Nikki there because, well, she was really waiting for painter Nikki to come back. She's as loyal as Momo, and it seems that unless you disappear for thousands of years, she won't go cray-cray again. Therefore, nice, experienced woman S tier, Tommy Baba, very loyal. She thinks that you're a saintess at the start, continues being loyal even when he figures out that you're a bit something else, if he ever figures that out. Because we kind of abolished the religion that we were a saintess of, but he still thinks very, very highly of you. Will put himself in danger for you, will do a lot of things for you, will regard you as this high up personal figure, but is a mushroom and does not have property. So I'm thinking E tier here. A Butata, Mushroom King, wants the best, is kinda slow, slightly dumb, but very lucky. Obviously can offer you quite a lot of mushroom property, but his thoughts, his brain, the cap, everything's a bit smooth over there, so he's well-meaning, but not the smartest, but kind of rich, but also a mushroom, so that takes him down a notch. I'm gonna match him with our blue bean and put him in the D tier. Medel, evil. I don't know what she was trying to do, but it kind of feels like it hurts to even be around her. Wanted to resurrect some sort of a god at the expense of literally everyone else. I do sort of want to caress those horns because that just looks like such an unusual structure that I want to run my hands over them, but considering the evil nature and the unpredictability, the only thing that she has going for her is that she is hot, and she is hot and also humanoid. So that's 2 for hot, 1 for humanoid. Still, we're gonna downgrade her to error mouth, aka the E tier, because evil and evil just kind of goes above the hotness aspect of this. Like this is a very dangerous person to be around, and we're not into endangering Nikki on this channel. Wilhelm, an adventurer, has a giant bird that you can fly, which is quite fun. Seems to get along great with Nikki. They're both sort of adventurers. Nikki doesn't stay in one place for too long. I think they would have issues settling down together, but as partners and adventuring partners and just having a jolly good time, I think she would be a great fit for Nikki, so I'm gonna give her A tier. She's not quite a god, and she's not quite as cool as koi fish turned dragon turned woman, but she's up there. She's up there with Momo for as well as she could perform alongside Nikki as, Nikki's trustworthy romantic companion. Now, I'm not doing all the sovereigns, but I feel like some of them really did deserve a mention considering that they are quite liked among the community. So I'm doing at least some sovereigns, starting from the sovereign of cool called Adorina. Look, she is some sort of mafioso girl. She has a whole bunch of people doing things for her, and she's kind of mean and a bully, but once Nikki beats her in the fashion duel, she kind of tones that down. And wasn't she like in the same team as a whole bunch of kids? So she does have like a soft side. And look, having a mafioso girlfriend definitely brings you some sort of power inside this world and would definitely be quite cool. So once again, not quite as cool as a former god and koi fish turned dragon turned woman, but she definitely scores an A tier. The Banshee. Now, the downsides are you can only meet her at very specific hours, and she's 100% dead, and she died of torture, and she is probably the noise mother, and the noise your friend, so this is all sorts of weird and awkward, but she does dance greatly and she is very attractive. So, taking everything into consideration, I'm gonna place her into C because if we were to date her, we're dating a dead person, a remnants of a dead person that only appears at a specific time, making any kind of dates really, really awkward. And she's the mom to your friend, which just kind of feels very dishonorable. But once again, she does have some qualities going for her, so into C she goes. And lastly, we have Sovereign of Sexy, which he runs wild, he likes dancing, he is constantly on the looking for inspiration, but at the same time, very clearly, this man owns absolutely no property. He doesn't have much on offer, and they don't remember a lot of information about him, which really feels like he was a lot more of a minor character than, let's say, a Banshee even was. Therefore, I can't help but give her the best I can do. And I'm upgrading him for being such a handsome lad. The best I can do is D, though realistically the guy deserves an E, so he can thank me for the D that I am giving him. And that's it, that's my list. Feel free to lynch me in the comments, though do remember that this list included a flying blue bean, a pillow, and 2 mushrooms. Therefore, it's really not that serious, guys. How did I do? Do you disagree or disagree with this list? Do you disagree or disagree with this list? Because I feel like with such a contentious topic, there can only be disagreements. What would your list be like yourself if you were to list all NPCs that made an impression on you in Infinity Nikki and listed them in how well they fit with Nikki? And yeah, feel free to discuss absolutely everything, but sending me over to lads love in deep space is a big no-no. We're not doing this today. We're just having some good old-fashioned fun, and if you can't accept the fun, then you're a party pooper, and I stand by that opinion. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. More serious videos are upcoming. They're always upcoming. I always have something to talk about. Thank you so much for my Patreon supporters, and I hope I'm gonna see you in my other videos. Toodaloo.